What is up, everybody? Ooh, hold on, my hair. What is up, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Come on in. We are live right now. Let me know who you are and where you're from. Shout out to all of you for tuning in. Today, we're talking about the Orange Blossom Classic. Now, earlier today, I dropped something talking about strictly Shedeur Sanders, but now we're going to go through the actual game. We're going to look at the box score, talk about what took place, what you like, what you didn't like, what I like, what I didn't like, and let's go all the way through it. Boy, oh boy. If the JSU Tigers didn't put the conference on notice before the game, look, they're here. The Jackson State folks is here. Shout out to Lee. They put them on. You know who Coach Prime and the Tigers are now. Let's talk about it after the bumper. Stay tuned. JeffLightsyJr. here. Come on into the room. Let me know where you're from and hit that thumbs up button as you come in. We saw Lee earlier. We got Benny Frank from New Jersey. We got Rochelle Henderson from Northern California. We got the 757 in the building. What is good? What is good, good people? Thank you all for tuning in. I am your gracious host, JeffLightsYJr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today, we are here to talk about what we witnessed in the Orange Blossom Classic on Sunday. Coach Prime said the theme of the season was to dominate, and that's what we ain't doing. Well, that's what they did. That's what Ed Reed once said. We ain't dominating, but now the Tigers took that personal. Where else we from? We got Grand Prairie, Texas in the building. We got Jackson, Mississippi. Hey, prayers out to everybody in Jackson. I hope you all are doing okay. With your water and everything. I know, hey, if you got some organizations that we can donate to, that we can help what's going on with Jackson, please let us know. Everybody in here from Jackson, Mississippi, please, I want to help any way that I can. We got Jackson, we got North Carolina, we got the DMV, we got Moore, Mississippi, we got Grand Rapids, Michigan. Shout out to you all. Thank you all for tuning in. But we are here today to talk about the OBC, what we witnessed on Sunday in the Orange Blossom Classic. God dog it was woo! Now, I did a whole video talking about Shedeur Sanders, so I'm not going to talk about him a whole lot, but we would be remiss not to talk about Shedeur, the 17 for 17 start, the over 300 yards passing, the only 4 incompletions with 5 touchdown passes. The young man is incredible. He is a pro's pro. He is crazy. He is crazy good. But let's talk about the play of the offensive line. Now, there were 2 things that I really wanted to see. I talked about in my preview show. I said I wanted to see if the offensive line, that all of these recruits that Coach Prime brought in, all of these, I mean, he brought in upwards of 10 offensive linemen. If those guys, if they could find the best combination of 5 and put them out there, and if they could establish a run. Safe to say they were able to do both. Safe to say they were able to do both. And the reason why I say that is because Santee Marshall and Savion Wilkerson and JSU as a whole averaged over 5 yards a carry. Well, the team, because of some lost yardage, they only averaged 4 yards a carry. But the 2 main running backs, now they only had about 20 carries between the 2 of them, but they averaged over 5 yards a carry. Shedeur threw the ball 33 times. He was sacked twice. They say he was sacked twice. I only remember seeing him get sacked once. But he was relatively clean. And even Willie Simmons, head coach Willie Simmons, in today's SWAC press conference even said, we only got to touch Shedeur about 2 times. Isaiah got him once, and we couldn't get him no other time the whole game. The man, this team is scary good, y'all. Like, this team, let me know. Is this team not scary good? We got Brandon from Colorado in the building. Shout out to the Colorado folks. I mean, this team, it was beautiful to see in person. Shonda, I wish I was there. I wish I would have seen this in person, because nobody, all of you guys that are in, we're in here, we're starting to get kind of heavy in here. Continue to hit that thumbs up button. All of you guys in here, no one put a 59-3 score. Nobody. Some of y'all had some 42-14s, JSU. Some of y'all had like some 38-7s. Some of y'all had like some 45-21s. Nobody predicted 59-3. Nobody picked 59-3. Even I said, what did I say? I said 38-24. And FAMU couldn't score a touchdown. FAMU couldn't even score a touchdown. Now I want to play for you. I want to go ahead and get this out the way. I want to play for you a clip from Coach Prime at today's presser, because I wish I had some. We got to pour one out for Coach Prime. I mean, because the Rattler pack was in the air. Let's talk about. Let's go to Coach Prime. He's talking about what took place against FAMU. Let me go ahead and share my screen. We're gonna listen to him at today's presser, and then we're gonna talk some more about the game, share some stats, and go through it. So this is Coach Prime today talking about the game against FAMU. Let's take a listen.
Played a wonderful opponent, well coached. Coach Simmons, one of my dear friends. Very highly anticipated match. We felt like we went out there and executed on all three phases: offense, defense, as well as special teams. A lot of people have added players and coaches to their staffs, and they forgot we did too.
Okay, see, look, man, here's the thing, because he's been saying this all off season. He keeps saying, yo, y'all added folks. You know what I'm saying? Y'all added some big time players. Some of y'all got some really good coaches. Like some of y'all went out and hired some top dudes, like dudes that really know what they're doing. Some of y'all already had top dudes. Y'all brought in other guys. But we didn't just sit on our hands and twiddle our thumbs. We went out and got players too. And see, it's one thing to hear that. And I heard him. I was like, yeah, coach, y'all got better. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got a new offensive coordinator. Like I said, you brought in 10 offensive linemen. You brought in some big-time transfers at the receiver position. Your running backs got even better. But what's it going to look like when you put it all together? Because you got a big gumbo, right? And in gumbo, it takes time to cook. And it takes time to marinate. It takes time. Y'all from the South, y'all know what I'm talking about. It takes time to get all of that right. You know what I'm saying? But JSU has some instant mix. It's like throwing something together, putting it on 30 seconds, and it being the best meal you ever had. Like, how are they able to come out game one, week one, and do that? Like, none of us thought they was gonna do that. Let's continue. Let's continue listening.
And I'm thankful that the kids that we added, they showed up and showed out. The coaches, the specialists, the support staff. It was a tremendous win collectively, and I'm proud of what we accomplished out there yesterday. We left some things on the field. I just got out of the cafeteria.
Now this part is critical, because this is scary. What he's about to say right now is what's scary about this team. Let's keep listening.
And some of the kids are, even though we were dominant, they're upset because they said we left a few things out there on the field. But I like that thought process. I love it 100%.
We left some things on the field. What y'all leave on the field? Y'all gave up a sack, had a couple penalties. Herman Smith dropped a pick. What did y'all leave on the field? Now, someone said CJ Holmes predicted 56-0. I didn't see that, but if he did, yeah, he was the closest, and even he was wrong. Even he was wrong because they scored 59, including a deep. So most of y'all saying CJ predicted 56-0 on a. Wow, if I'd heard that, I might have laughed a little bit. I was like, okay, CJ's being biased. Shoot, he knew something that we didn't. But they did leave stuff on the field. I'm lying, because you dropped a pick. It was a couple of times you probably could have had sacks. But what did we witness, guys? Shedeur threw 5 touchdowns. You had a defensive touchdown, Aubrey Miller scoop and score. And then you had a punt block for a touchdown. Herman Smith dropped the pick. It should have been a pick 6, but then he comes back and scores the punt block. Like, this JSU team is loaded. This team is scary. And the scary thing, let's talk about it, is the trenches play. See, what do we always, shout out to y'all, man. We in here heavy. Continue to hit that thumbs up button. What have we always talked about when it came to HBCU football? When will they take that next step? When will you see more teams become more dominant? When will you see more teams get more national recognition? When they continue to upgrade the trenches and the quarterback play. The trenches of Jackson State are elite now. The offensive line, the defensive line, Antonio Doyle. Whoa. Antonio Doyle, the O-line, the front five. Whoa. Whoa, what? These guys are serious ballers. Now, someone said the Tennessee State teams think they're really heavy. Now, let's not get it twisted. TSU looked good, and we're going to talk about TSU a little bit later. Let's stay on the OBC for a second. TSU looked good because they could run the ball. But that D-line was serious. Let's take a look at the box score. Let's go ahead and jump to that. And you're going to see, just for those who happen, if you live under a rock and you didn't watch the game, the box score tells somewhat. It only tells half the story. You had to watch the game to actually know what we're talking about. But the box score, look at these numbers for FAMU. Look at the quarterbacks from FAMU. They only got sacked 4 times, but they both threw a pick. McKay, the first 3 possessions McKay was in, he turned the ball over 3 times, 2 fumbles and interception. And one of them went for a pick 6. And then Musa, 11 of 27. Musa just had a game. See, I came on here, and you guys let me know a little bit in my comments, and I was just like, maybe y'all being biased. But I came on here, and I said, I think Musa's good. Like, I actually think Musa's good. I think Musa, he was throwing some nice passes against North Carolina, and he looked good, and he looked like a competent quarterback. Like, he might, I said he might be able to give JSU some problems. And y'all was like, oh, hell no. Musa, North Carolina's weak. Musa ain't that good, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, y'all might just be hating a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, they don't really know what they're talking about. And this was before. Let me make sure I'm clear. This was before we saw App State drop 60 on North Carolina. So when App State dropped 60 on North Carolina on Saturday before the Orange Blossom Classic on Sunday, I was thinking like, dang, maybe North Carolina's defense ain't that good. Maybe my folks know what they're talking about. The folks that tap in and listen to me. Maybe they know what they're talking about. Maybe North Carolina ain't that good. Maybe Musa, he looked a little inflated. He was a little inflated. And sure enough, no one told me that FAMU would finish the game with 161 total yards. They finished the game with 155 total yards. They finished the game with 155 total yards. JSU almost had 100 points. And they held FAMU to 155 total yards. No one saw that coming, but you know where that comes from? It's that D-line, like Coach Prime has been telling us, is better than last year. That O-line that Coach Prime told us about is 180 degrees difference from last year. And that D-line controlled the trenches from the jump. JSU controlled the trenches from the jump. And there was nothing Musa, McKay, the running backs, there was nothing any other could do. Xavier Smith. And then you control the trenches, both offensive line, defense line. You have the best quarterback. Let's look. You have the best quarterback. You have the best. Look at this stat line. You have the best quarterback. 29 of 33. 223 yards and 5 touchdowns. 4 incompletions, 5 touchdowns. You have the best quarterback. And then you have one guy in the secondary that completely locked down an entire side. Like, think about that, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I'm looking at all I'm looking at all comments. I'm looking at everything you guys are saying. FAMU, Travis Hunter locked down an entire side of the ball. They never threw his way. They threw his way twice at the beginning of the game and never looked over there again. Please, somebody. They never looked over there again. They threw his way at the beginning. It was out of bounds. That's the pitcher. He got a pitcher out there with the one hand. And then they threw at him again on the slant. He broke it up, and it should have been a pick six. Herman Smith just dropped it. That dude is special. And let's talk about Travis for a little bit, because I saw this video that was posted by Deion Jr. And it was Travis. And man, I know Travis gets a lot of hype. And I know a lot of people talk about Travis, man. But this video was special because if you follow this, if you follow Jackson State and you follow everything that they're doing, you understand the scrutiny and the criticism Travis got for choosing an HBCU. You understand the backlash that Travis received. And if you don't understand it, when Travis chose Jackson State, it was a lot of these college football fans that said he'll never make it to the NFL, that he's ruining his career. Hell, there was national pundits. Doug Gottlieb went on Fox Sports and said this was the worst decision in the history of the world because he was the number one player in the country choosing to go play for a black college. They just couldn't fathom that any of that made sense. And so the criticism that he received, an 18-year-old kid, a decision that he made to go play for a black coach at a black school in a black city full of black fans, just was a foreign concept to a lot of people. So he got so much backlash, right? All the backlash that he received. Nick Saban. Yeah, Connie, you're right. Nick Saban hated on Travis, said he got paid $1 million to go there. Just a bunch of just foolishness, right? A whole bunch of foolishness. And the emotion that he showed leading up to this game, this was pregame. This video I'm about to show you was pregame. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Let's take a look. This was posted by Deion Jr. He posted this moment between Coach Prime and Travis ahead of Travis's debut. And I'm going to play you a clip from Coach Prime. They weren't sure. I think Scotty Allscript said Travis Hunter was shaky for the game. And Prime confirmed that today. He confirmed that they weren't sure that Travis was going to play. One, he only played at 60%. And two, they were about 2 seconds from not letting him play anyway, but he understood the magnitude. One, the kid wanted to play. He was healthy enough to play. And he understood the magnitude of letting him play this game on that stage after everything he went through. Let's take a look. Let's just watch this, and you're going to see how special this was for this young man. This was Coach Prime and Travis ahead of the game. Oh, let me. Now watch this embrace. Look at him. No. Look at him. The kid, come on, man. The kid didn't. Coach was just gonna walk away. Coach was just gonna walk away. This is how much this means to him. How much Prime means to him. This is special, y'all. We're watching something special. Watch it. He's giving him his advice. Look at that. Gives him a hug. Watch his face. Watch, because look at this. Thank you. Come on, man. Dog. This means a lot to him. This means everything to him. Come on, man. Like I can't emphasize that enough, how special that was. We got to run it back, man. Continue to hit the thumbs up button, y'all. And I got some more clips I want to play. But come on, we can't act like what we're watching at Jackson State ain't special. This is Prime and Travis, and watch this embrace. Just let it play. That ain't for the camera. You can't fake that. That's real love. That's real emotion. That's real. Oh my God. Dog. How can you not love it? How can you not love it? How can you not embrace that? How can you not root for that? I get it. Everybody's loyal to different fan bases. Some Graham fam, we gonna talk about Grambling too on another tomorrow or something, because Grambling, y'all kind of let me down. But you can be the Graham fam, you can be the Southern Knights, you can be, a Rattler, you can be a Bethune-Cookman, you can, what I'm saying. But that right there, knowing everything that everybody said about Travis, knowing that folks told him he wouldn't be successful at Jackson State, that he was making a wrong decision, that he was ruining his career, that he wouldn't get the NIL deals, that all of this stuff they said about Travis, to watch that embrace, that moment, that means everything. That means everything. That means everything. Dog. Like, you can't fake that. You can't fake that. That was special, dog. That was tough. I want to play for you a clip. This was from the presser today. This was Coach on Travis. Let's take a listen to what Coach Prime had to say about Travis and what he had to say about his defense, and we'll talk some more about it. Let me go ahead and pull it up 1 second. Let's take a listen. This is Coach Prime on Travis's performance and the defense's performance.
Look at your defense. Mr. Hunter was in the house, and he played well. Just talk a little bit about lights out, DI love defense, if you will.
I feel like we upgraded every level of it. The front four, the rush ends as well, the linebacker core and the secondary. We're missing Shiloh, which is a vital part of our secondary. But having Travis was probably at 60%. 60% of Travis Hunter is 110% anyone else. The kid can flat out play. We were really reluctant to let him play, but I had to put myself in his position, but I had to.
Now, we were really reluctant to let him play. That lets you know that they were highly considering not letting him play. We were really reluctant to let him play. That confirms what Scotty said about they ain't know if he was going to play. Let me rewind that one more time. So we were really reluctant, meaning we didn't think he was going. He might have not made it.
60% of Travis Hunter is 110% anyone else. The kid can flat out play. We were really reluctant to let him play, but I had to put myself in his position, but I had to father him as well. But we made a decision to let him go out there and see how it was, and if he experienced any severe pain, we was going to get him out of there. Play shutout. He threw a shutout. I mean, we played certain defenses where you had to deal with him one-on-one, and no receivers trying to deal with Travis Hunter one-on-one. The kid is a darn bona fide pro in the making. We rushed the passer really well. What they got offensively? Was it over 100 yards?
155 total.
155 total yards. Lord Jesus. If I use profanity, I would cuss right now. 155 total yards from a team like FAMU, a well-coached team. Hats off to Dennis Sturman and the defense in their preparation. The defense really took it as a challenge to shut them down. And the only points I think they received were because of a penalty.
Dog, Travis played out of his mind. The JSU Tigers played out of them. And I want to, and so what's so scary also is that, hey, shout out to y'all. Continue to hit that thumbs up button. We're in here heavy. You can't buy, you're right. You can't buy love like that. You can't fake that either. That's the thing. Like, some things you can fake, you can orchestrate. First of all, Coach was walking away. He grabbed him back and hugged him and let him know, thank you for everything you've done for me. To know that, because think about, sit in Travis's shoes for a second. Sitting there, like, during when he decided to go to JSU in December, he made the biggest decision in modern day high school recruiting history. Like, let's just call it what it was. Him choosing Jackson State over Florida State, over Georgia, over Alabama, over Ohio State, over Notre Dame, over USC, over every, because he could have went anywhere. Him choosing Jackson State was the biggest recruiting decision in the modern history of recruiting ever. Like, that was. He got all kinds of backlash and scrutiny. All kinds of backlash and scrutiny. None of it, but most of it was bad, even nationally. And then to go out there, hurt or injured, and play a ball game the way he played it, bravo, young man. Bravo. Bravo. Bra freaking vo. like, and just to think, Jackson State scored 59 points and Malachi Wideman didn't play for whatever reason. Malachi Wideman had to stay back. Coach, he didn't really address it. He just said he stayed back. So you're talking about a guy who scored 12 touchdowns last year, who led the SWAC in touchdown catches. Didn't even play, and they scored 59 points. They didn't even have a receiver go over 100 yards. You had a quarterback that threw in that, and shout out to Bartoloni, because that is how you know the game plan was executed to perfection. Jackson State didn't even have a receiver go over 100 yards. Jackson State didn't have a receiver catch more than 5 balls, and Shedeur still threw an efficient game. He would have had a perfect quarterback rating, and they still were able to do what they did. We're in here heavy, by the way, guys. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. Let's take a look at that box score one more time. You have running backs. Your 2 main running backs average 5 yards a carry a piece. So that means you were blocking well. They couldn't. And the most catches anyone had was Shane Hooks with 6. The most yards anyone had was Dallas Daniels with 59. A well-balanced, well-oiled machine. 5 catches for Dallas, 6 for Shane, 2 for Willie, 4 for Kevin Coleman, 4 for Buckley, 1 and a touchdown for Rico, another touchdown for Hagler. Yo, this is shaping up because, and here's the thing I want to be clear about. FAMU is not a bad football team. Like, FAMU is not a bad football team. FAMU was picked to finish. They're in every power ranking, even after that loss. They just got beat 59-3. They just got beat on national television, on ESPN2, on Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend. They got beat 59-3. And if you go to any HBCU power ranking, FAMU is still ranked 3rd. Shout out to EJ Love, man. Shout out to the love for your super chat, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. But on any and every power ranking that you look at today, FAMU is still ranked no lower than 3rd. You got JSU. You'll see people put South Carolina State, and FAMU is still 3rd. Why? Because FAMU is still expected to go out and win every other SWAC game. So what does that say about Jackson State and the rest of their schedule? If FAMU is still predicted to win 8 or 9 games the rest of the year, they're not a bad football team. They just got beat by a better team. Now, someone said, what happened to Wideman? I don't know. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what's happening with Wideman. There's conflicting reports, but he didn't travel. He is still on the team. He still got a jersey. The coach is still talking about him. Shedeur is still talking about him. They talked about him after the game. He just didn't make the trip. I'm sure we'll see him soon. If anybody else got any other information, you can let me know. Let the viewers know. Continue to hit that thumbs up button. But 59 points got hung on you. You only scored 3. Your quarterbacks looked awful. You couldn't run the ball. Your special teams looked awful. And you're still only ranked 3rd in the power rankings. That tells you more about JSU than it does about FAMU. How elite they played in that game and how elite they're going to be looked upon moving forward. Moving forward. There's no way. I mean, when your quarterback starts 17 for 17 to start the game, he threw 17 passes. It took him to throw his first 17 passes. A ball didn't hit the ground. A ball didn't hit the ground. He's good. See him in Memphis. Shout out to Roger, man. Appreciate that. He talking about Wideman and Mr. Rogerson. We'll see him in Memphis. Absolutely. And now I'm looking forward to the Southern Heritage Classic because Tennessee State did look good. They looked really good, and we'll preview that game later this week. But man, oh man. Yes, they went to the playoffs last year. Yes, FAMU went to the playoffs last year. FAMU is a good football team. They have a really good coach and head coach Willie Simmons. They have good players. Isaiah Land he's the top HBCU draft eligible prospect this year. He's a guy that still had a sack in the game. He was pretty much marked irrelevant. They had to do a stunt to get that, and then they weren't even able to pull any other stunts after that one. And he's somewhat a kid that I think, will get drafted. And if he has another dominant season like he had last year, he might even get drafted fairly high. And still, there was nothing that they could do with JSU. Now, someone asks, is that you? Short answer is no. But, if you watch that O-line, I don't think they need much help. I don't know if they need much more help if you watch their performance against FAMU. The Orange Blossom Classic, I thought was going to be such a better game. It was fun to watch because I was sitting there with my family. We had a family reunion, and I talk about these teams. I talk about schools. I was disappointed in the player Jeremy Musa, but a big reason for that is because he ran into that JSU defense. I was really disappointed in the player Rashawn McKay. I really thought Rashawn McKay would have a better showing. I don't know what it was about McKay, man. It wasn't that I thought he was going to go out there and beat Tim Tebow, but I thought that he would have a better showing than going out there and having 3 turnovers on his first 3 possessions. Like, you can't just give JSU the ball. And as you see, they made you pay for every single turnover that you had. They made you pay for every single turnover that took place. So I was disappointed in his play. I was thoroughly impressed, like I said, with the play in the trenches. And even more so, I really, really like the running game. Now, the question I want to have is, I really like the way Jackson State can run the ball. If JSU can run the ball like that every single week, this is going to be one hell of a season. Like, if they can run the ball, because we know what Shedeur is. Shedeur is a pro. Shedeur is a guy that's going to play on Sundays. Shedeur is a guy now at this point, after watching what we saw in the Orange Blossom Classic, he is a guy that is trying to be in that upper half of the first round. He's not just playing to – he's going to do all of that. All the records of JSU, all the records in the SWAC. He's going to come for those too. But he's going to play. He's playing for that upper half of the first round. We're talking about picks 1 through 15. He's trying to get in that frame. Like, that's what he's playing for now. Because the way he saw the game, the way he took what the defense gave him, you could tell FAMU's strategy. 1, they thought they would have a better pass rush, but 2, they didn't want to get beat deep. They didn't want to get beat deep. Like, they weren't going to let any big-time, like, deep balls, a 40-yard pass or whatever. So Shedeur, it's like dying by 1,000 cuts. He was slicing and dicing and slicing and dicing and dicing and slicing. And it worked, and it was effective, and it was efficient, and he was accurate. And I talked about this in my Shedeur video, but the most impressive thing about Shedeur, to me, in that game was his mobility. The fact that he was able to maneuver the pocket, his mobility. And when I say mobility, I'm not strictly talking about scrambling. I'm talking about moving around and allowing guys to get open, because his pocket was beautiful, but the kids can't cover forever. And so when the quarterback is able to move around and receive, it's almost like playing backyard football. And there was a couple of plays that he made because he used his legs not to run, but kept his eyes down the field and found the open man. And there was nothing, fam, you could do about it. If that man continues to move and play like that, we're talking about a guy that's going to go in the upper half of the first round. We're talking about a guy that could potentially leave after 3 years. We're talking about a guy that could rewrite all the record books, not just the Jackson State, but in the SWAC. We're talking about a guy that could go down as a legend. That's how great he looked in week 1 against what most people thought was the second best team in the entire conference. That FAMU is supposed to be, y'all do realize that FAMU is supposed to be the second best team in the entire conference. Now I get it. some people will say, well, FAMU was dealing with all their compliance issues, and FAMU's head wasn't in the game. And Willie Simmons actually alluded to some of that in today's presser. He said, I'm not going to make any excuses, but the compliance thing wasn't good for us. He said the compliance thing wasn't good for us, and hopefully, thankfully, we've got that behind us and we can move on to Albany State. But that don't excuse you getting beat 59-3. A compliance issue might excuse you getting beat 35-0. The compliance issue might excuse you getting beat, 38-7. A compliance issue might excuse, you getting beat by 3 touchdowns. Compliance issues don't excuse you getting beat by 56 freaking points. Now, ain't no compliance issue in the world when your best player, the best NFL draft prospect, is on the field, does not excuse you getting beat by 56 points. Absolutely, positively, not at all. Not even a little bit. Exactly. Shout out to the frat, man. 3 points. Ain't no compliance issues excusing you only scoring 3 points. Ain't no compliance issues excuse all your fans in this. Every time ESPN panned to a FAMU fan, the entire game, they was like this. Every time the ESPN camera panned to the crowd, and some of y'all was there. Shout out to Rattler Nation. I ain't trying to hate, but this is how y'all look. Bro said JSU didn't have water. That's how y'all look. Y'all look miserable. Y'all look like, why in the hell did I choose to spend my Labor Day weekend to watch my team get beat by 56 points? I'd have been mad as hell too. I would have been peed off as well. I would have been hot as well. We starting to play for ourselves. Now we can start joining these Greek. I don't know about that, big folk. Let me look at some of your comments, man. Let me look at some of the comments, man. I gotta get the phone stuff working. I always try it always messes up. So let me see. He says, if we blow out Tennessee State, I know we're going undefeated. The Tennessee State game is going to be tough, and we're going to break down Tennessee State. We're going to break down a preview of that game later in the week because Tennessee State looked really, really good this week. They played a ranked FCS team, and they lost 36-29, and they lost on a go-ahead touchdown with less than 3 minutes left, and TSU wasn't able to – they got the ball back and wasn't able to score, but – they got a real deal quarterback in Draylon Ellis. They got a real deal running back. They had like 300 yards rushing. They got a real team down there in Nashville. And Coach George is building a strong, hard-nosed, tough football team. And JSU, I mean, enjoy this win, though. Let's not get it twisted. The Rattler pack is in the air. But TSU is a good football team. Let's not get it twisted. Let me see some more of your comments. Just think. Y'all funny, man. That's actually kind of funny. Jackson State was in Miami from Thursday to Sunday, so they had water, guys. Let's not overdo it. They won 59-0 though, and TSU has no excuse for only scoring. 59-3, and TSU has no excuse for not TSU. FAMU has no excuse for only scoring 3 points. But this is how many years will it take FAMU? That's actually funny. That's where the team was at the beach while our team was on a business trip. Oh, FAMU went to the beach. Nah, hell no, man. Ain't no way FAMU was at the beach during it. If FAMU was on the beach, man, we got to talk to Coach Simmons about that. So now let me see y'all score. Like, folks are dropping TSU score predictions. I can't even laugh at these score predictions anymore. 59-3, all things are on the table. All things are on the table. He threw more touchdowns than incompletions, 29-33, but he had 5 touchdown passes. The kid is special. He is special. FAMU had a cute. They did. They had everybody. Everybody that's anybody. Let me put it like that. They had everybody that was anybody. They had their quarterbacks. They had their best pass rusher. Their offensive line was intact. The best defensive back got cleared and only scored 3 points. Talking about TSU. Where was 31? He had a sack, and that was it. He had a sack in, I think, the second quarter, and that was it. That was it. This, whew. Did you? Is this that real, Lillian? Are you making this up? We gotta fact check this one. We gotta fact check this, cause is that man? I don't know. Hold on, man. Hold on. Now, Media One is right. So some people are saying like Shedeur, they want him to have a Heisman run like how Aaron McNair did. I think it was at 94. Was that 94 when Steve McNair was in the race for the Heisman? Now, Media One let it be known that those days are over. The days of the FCS player winning the Heisman and stuff. So now they have the Walter Payton Award, which is like the FCS version of the Heisman. Shedeur Sanders made a good case of winning it. Made a really good case of winning it. He already won the Jerry Rice Award. Now he's looking to become, I think, only the third HBCU player to ever win the Walter Payton Award. He started off on a good foot. He started off on a good foot. So, and I keep seeing this. I keep seeing JSU would have beat North Carolina. I ain't going to argue with you. You're not getting an argument out of me on that one. Normally, I'd be like, let's slow our roll. But I watched North Carolina give up 40 points to App State in the fourth quarter. I watched North Carolina give up 61 points to App State during the entirety of the game. I watched North Carolina allow FAMU to score 28 points, and I saw FAMU with more players, a full stable of players, only scored 28 on Jackson State. I watched North Carolina have FAMU only down 11 at halftime. I watched North Carolina have to struggle with FAMU most of the first half, and then finally turn it on in the second half after the FAMU players got tired. I did watch all of that. So when you say this, I ain't disagreeing. I ain't arguing with you that JSU would have beat North Carolina. You're not getting an argument out of me. I said Shiloh back next week, so we'll be at full strength. Be good to see Shiloh out there. But, I mean, full strength. They look pretty full strength, full and strong to me out there. And you think JSU can hire Sapp? Warren Sapp don't want to help. Jackson State got enough help. They don't need Warren Sapp. I'm gonna be honest. Like Warren Sapp, it's not much more you can do to help this team the way they looked on Sunday. I mean, let's just be honest. Let's get to the truth. Offensive sets for me, telegraph everything. I can see that. FAMU has to worry about Bethune and Alabama State in the East. FAMU. Now, this is good because Alabama State, they're a good team. Bethune, they played Miami. They hung 70 on them. They hung 70 on Bethune. That is what it is. Money game, whatever. Now, okay, I got a question based off FAM played North Carolina. Bethune played Miami. There's a couple other money games. For all the folks that say Jackson State should challenge themselves, and I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but are money games worth it? Are money games worth it? That's a question. You can answer it to yourself. You can leave it in the comments. But watching Miami hang 70 on Bethune, I mean, that wasn't fun. That wasn't fun to see that score come across the ticker. I didn't watch the game. I didn't need to watch the game. They hung 70 points on them. I don't want to see that. That ain't what it's about. But I mean, it is what it is. Shout out to Mr. William Anderson. He said, I'm the only black man in South Dakota who loves the Tigers. Trust me, the fan base is going to continue to grow. And see, and shout out to Miss Shanita. Yes, they made everybody proud. Is JSU ready for North Carolina State in the playoffs? I mean, I don't know. You tell me. I think so. You guys let me know. Do you think if Jackson State, now this is just a big hypothetical because one, we know Jackson State is never going to go to the FCS playoffs. Let's go ahead and get that straight. Jackson State is not going to the FCS playoffs. So the only way that they can play North Dakota State is if they schedule an out-of-conference game. Because they're not going to play in the FCS playoffs. It benefits no one for them to play in the FCS playoffs. They would have to travel to some hick town with those people don't even come to the games. And then they would have to pay for everything. Whereas in the Celebration Bowl, you get upwards of $3 million to play in that. You get millions. In one hand, you get and make millions of dollars, get chartered flights. get a whole bowl game, bowl atmosphere, bowl perks, all that stuff handed to you in a Celebration Bowl. And on the other hand, you got to pay to go play in a hillbilly town that nobody even knows where it's at, and you pay to play versus getting paid to play. Pay to play, get paid to play. I'm gonna take this every time and twice on Sundays. Every single time and twice on Sundays. So it makes absolutely no sense. I mean, but that's just my thought. That's just my thought. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Listen, I'm looking at some more of your comments, then I'm gonna get out of here, man. You guys have been awesome, man. That Orange Blossom Classic game was just whoo. We're on here talking about the Orange Blossom Classic. What went right for Jackson State? Everything. What went wrong for FAMU? Everything. But what stood out the most from JSU was the play in the trenches. The offensive line dominated. The running backs averaged 5 yards a carry. Shedeur Sanders only got sacked, they say twice. I only remember seeing him get sacked once. He only got sacked once. He threw for over 300 yards. He had 5 touchdowns and only 4 incompletions on 33 passes. That is in a highly efficient game. The defensive line, they had 4 sacks. So if you do 4 times 12, meaning if they average 4 sacks a game, you got to remember FAMU is one of the best teams in the conference, so they're going to have more than 4 sacks in some of these games. FAMU still is one of the best teams in the conference. Whether you believe it or not after watching the game, they are going to go out and win 6 or 7 games in the SWAC. And Jackson State still had 4 sacks, still had a pick 6, still had multiple interceptions, still had a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and had a punt block for a touchdown. So all 3 phases, JSU dominated. All 3 phases, they overmatched, overpowered, outcoached FAMU. And FAMU is still a really good football team. Like, these aren't things that I'm not just saying that. FAMU is going to go out next week and play an Albany State team and look good. They're going to play the rest of the SWAC and look good. They're going to have really good moments this season. They're going to finish this season with 7, 8, maybe even 9 wins. They just ran into a juggernaut yesterday. They just ran into a buzzsaw. They just ran into a team that was on another level. They ran into a team who got the number 1 player in the country and who played his heart out, even at 60%. That's just what they ran into. And it's to no fault of their own. They just play what's on the schedule. They thought they were prepared. Hell, I thought they were prepared for this game. I thought that this would be a close game. Y'all didn't. A lot of y'all didn't. Y'all knew this was going to be a blowout. Y'all ain't think it would be that kind of blowout. But y'all knew. And y'all told me. And guess what? I didn't believe you. And here's my thing. I apologize. I admit when I'm wrong. I didn't believe you. I said 38-24. They had 38 points in the first half. They had 38 points in the first half. I didn't think they'd have a pick 6. I didn't think they'd have a fumble recovery for a touchdown. I didn't think they'd have a punt block for a touchdown. It's my bad. Coach Prime, Shedeur, Travis, Aubrey Miller, Antonio Doyle. I wish I could, I don't want to get a copyright strike. I want to show you guys this play. Oh, I wish I could show it. This play from Antonio Doyle, the transfer from Texas A&M, who's huge, by the way. He's up to 240, 245, somewhere around there. Huge. Just manhandling the FAMU offensive line, the starting left tackle for the Rattlers. Just manhandling them. But that was the whole entire game. And one thing about Shiloh, I've been critical of Shiloh in the past. I've said he needs to play better in coverage, and I said he needs to wrap up. But one thing Shiloh's going to bring to that secondary that's not there right now, dude puts fear in people's hearts coming across the middle. Shiloh is the hardest hitter on the team. He was the hardest hitter last year. Well, Aubrey might be the hardest hitter on the team. Let me take that back. But Shiloh was one of the hardest hitters on the team. And to have that back in your secondary with that front 7, Baron Hobson playing the way he played, Baron Hobson just jumped off the screen. He jumped off the screen. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. I knew he would have a good season. Dude. Shiloh is a beast against them. Shiloh's just got to wrap up. If he comes back wrapping up, folks in a world of trouble. This game was billed as exactly. Brian, you're absolutely right. And so that's why it was so disappointing. It was kind of disappointing. Be like, yo, they beat them by 50 points. JSU should pay a Big 12 school. Possibly, but the out-of-conference schedules are made years in advance. I think their out-of-conference schedule is already set for next year. So I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen. I guess we got to wait and see. Miss Shanita, she said, I thought it was JSU by 8. Yeah, they surprised everybody. Katron Evans didn't play. Now, Frankie I knew was hurt. Katron didn't play. Now that you bring that up, Jerome, Katron Evans didn't play. That's 300 pounds. That's a 4-star. That's a beast in the middle who made plays all last year. That didn't play. And I just now noticed that. Wow. So you mean to tell me they're going to add Katron Evans and Frankie Burgess, but Katron Evans to that D-line that just manhandled FAMU the entire game, that pushed the Rattlers around? The Rattlers supposed to be the second best team in the SWAC? Dude. Nah. Let's take a look at JSU's schedule real quick. Let's go ahead and do this. Since we got you guys, shout out to you guys, man. You guys are in here real heavy. Continue to hit that like button. Let's take a look at their schedule. So they'll play TSU, of course, in Memphis, Southern Heritage Classic. I was supposed to be there, but some things came up, so I won't be able to make the game this weekend. But that game, hey, have a good time for me on that one because it's going to be the last one. So have a really good time down there in Memphis. And then you got Grambling. Now, y'all know I love the G-Men. Y'all know I love the G-Men. They did just get beat. They got beat like 59-3 or 59-0 or something. So I need to see Grambling this week to reevaluate on the G-Men and Coach Hugh Jackson and everything because they didn't look that good. Coach Dancy and Mississippi Valley is always going to play hard. I just don't think they have enough offensive firepower. They trotted out Jelani Eason over Jabbar Jones, and I was surprised. I was. But they played hard. They didn't get the win, but they played hard. Alabama State's 2-0, and I like what Coach Eddie Robinson Jr. is building. D. Davis has got to be able to stay healthy. They just don't have enough offense against Jackson State. They just don't. Bethune, they are who they are. Campbell is still a rebuilding. They're a building program. They don't have a chance in hell. I'm going to be honest. Jackson State homecoming, it'll be 60,000 people there. It'll be the best and biggest recruits on all their board there. They don't have a chance in hell of winning that game unless an apocalypse happens or I don't know. Like they don't have a chance of winning this game. I'm just be honest. They're a program that's never won more than 6 games. They have a top-ranked recruiting class, and they look good in their first win, but they're still a building program. They're not there yet. So and with this team, like this is a team trying to make some history. They don't have a chance. Southern is the game I want to see. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but Southern is interesting. Now, I talked about earlier how Southern won 86-0, but y'all was quick to let me know that Southern played a team who's only had a football program for a couple of years, and that win don't mean nothing. They're a school with an enrollment of only 1,300 people. Y'all let me know that. So I stood down. But 86-0 is 86-0. I don't care who you's playing. I don't even care if you's playing some line people. If you win 86-0, I'm going to be impressed a little bit. So, shout out to Mr. William Anderson, Dallas Daniels. Yeah, he's a baller. Dallas Daniels is a baller. Yeah, Katron and Malachi didn't make the trip. Yes, I did. I knew that about Malachi. I honestly, I didn't even realize it with Katron, how many people made plays on Sunday. I didn't even realize he wasn't there. So Southern game is going to be interesting. And then Alabama A&M didn't look impressive. They got blown out. Texas Southern, they just don't have enough, and neither does Alcorn. I'm going to just be honest. These teams just don't have enough. That team that I saw out there, meaning JSU on Sunday, the way they did FAMU 59-3, the way Shedeur looked so comfortable in year 2, the way Shedeur took what the defense gave him in year 2, the way Coach Bartoloni drew up a perfect game plan. They didn't do too much. that incorporated the running backs. I want to see the running backs get more carries, though. When guys are averaging 5 yards a carry, now don't get me wrong. I mean, this is me nitpicking, right? The quarterback threw for over 300 yards and 5 touchdowns. But when guys are getting 5 yards a carry, I'm an old running back. I want to see them tote the rock a little more because Santee Marshall and Wilkerson were running hard, and they were getting big holes. You know, what was the most impressive thing? I keep saying what was the most impressive. One of the most impressive things about JSU 2 was the tempo. Did y'all peep that? The tempo that they played with? I mean, them boys was getting to them boys looked like them old Oregon teams. I was like, yo, what? It was like boom, 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 back to the snap. Hike, boom, 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 back to hike, boom, boom, boom. I was like, yo, this tempo, like it's one thing to run an air raid. Don't get me wrong. Air raid incorporates a lot of passes and a lot of tempo. But the efficiency, this is game one, y'all. Y'all do realize that. This is game one. They scored 59 points on the second best team in the SWAC. Only gave up 3 points in game one. What are they going to look like by game 6? What are they going to look like by game 6? By game 8? By game 12? This was game one on national TV. You had any and every opportunity to mess up. You had any and every opportunity to get nervous. You had any and every opportunity to not live up to expectation. And in game one, everybody not only delivered, they over-delivered. They over-delivered. And this was a glorified road game. I mean, let's be honest. It was a neutral site game, but FAMU's in Tallahassee. The game was in Miami. The people in Jackson, I mean, if we're being honest, they dealing with a water crisis. The people in Jackson are dealing with a water crisis. FAMU's from Tallahassee. Their people created or brought back the Orange Blossom Classic. This is a glorified road game. And you do that. You put up that kind of performance. Game one for Coach Brett. Dennis Thurman, we knew what he was going to do. I don't know if we knew he was going to do it to this magnitude. But game one for Bartolone, and they scored 59 points. How do you top that? How do you top that? Come on, man. Hey, get your popcorn ready. That's all I can say is get your popcorn ready because this is going to be a wild, wild ride. And I hope we're all ready for it because this team, I'm saying it now, this team can go down as one of the best ever, period. This team has the trajectory, has the talent, has the coaching, has the quarterback, has the trenches play, has all three phases of the game, offense, defense, special teams, can go down as one of the best ever, period. Period. They scored 59 points in game one. Shedeur looks like that in game one against top tier opponent, FAMU, against a top tier opponent. They look like that. Man, get your popcorn ready, man. I'm going to look at some more of these comments and then I'm going to get out of here, man. We've been on here for an hour. Continue to hit that like button, man. We in here heavy. We're in here deep. Let's see. It says, pick your poison. Trying to cover double team. I mean, yeah. And the thing is, the special teams had a great day with the block, punt, touchdown. And Isaiah didn't even do anything as far as kick return. Coleman got loose a little bit on the punt return, but it's not like they did anything spectacular. We know what they're capable of. Well, first of all, Isaiah couldn't do much because FAMU didn't score no damn points. So they didn't get many kick return opportunities. And so we know how special he is as a kick returner, and you didn't even get a chance to do that. This could be special, man. There are different versions of air raid, Nevada style, 33rd. Yeah, they are. Yeah. He came in and scored a touchdown, too. Did Mike Zimmer help Dennis Thurman with this game plan? Outstanding. Quite possibly. So the way Coach Prime explained Mike Zimmer's role as an analyst, he said he won't even be in Jackson much. He said he will get the game tape or practice tape or whatever, and he'll look at the tape and send back notes to both Prime and to Thurman and to the rest of the staff. But mainly, he'll probably send it directly to Prime, and then they'll dissect it and take a look at it from it there. Because you got to remember, Mike Zimmer's got 30 years of NFL experience. Mike Zimmer's got, great. He has a winning record as an NFL head coach. He spent a lot of years as the head coach of the Vikings, so he knows a lot of football. I mean, he's probably forgot more football than most people know. So, yeah, Mike Zimmer, big time asset for JSU. Shedeur might be bigger than this. Now let's William, I love you, man. Let's not go too crazy now. Let's not get too crazy now, because Aaron McNair went number 3 in the draft. Aaron McNair was a top 5 finalist for the Heisman and played it all. I'm not saying he can't eventually get there, but as of now, that 94 season is pretty special. I think that 94 season, McNair had like 50 touchdowns or something ridiculous. I feel like it's going to be an outstanding season. I think they need to run the ball more. I'm not going to see, look, this is what I'm going to say, Daryl. I'm not going to sit here and say I think they need to run the ball more. I'm just going to say I would have liked to see them run the ball more. I'm not going to say that they don't need to listen to nothing I got to say. They just scored 59 points on the second best team in the SWAC and only gave up 3. But I would like to see them run the ball more, especially how effective they were running the ball. And 12, this is game 1, y'all. The whole team is going to get better. This is game 1. Score, it left a possible 21. Absolutely. They did. They really did. 11 points from the kickers. 50. Yeah, 40 piece for everybody. The versus them. That's actually kind of funny. I like that. Somebody should probably put that on the shirt or something. Weidman didn't make the trip. He didn't make the trip to Miami. You asked where was Weidman? He didn't make the trip. So, Sapp said he's not coaching. Oh man, oh man, dog. Get your buckle up your seatbelts, get your popcorn ready. This is gonna be a special season for JSU. This is gonna be a special season for Coach Prime. It's gonna be a special season. Knocking on wood. I don't wish, barring no injuries. Yo, this is going to be a wild ride, and I hope you all are ready for it. We'll be ready for it right here on JeffLightsyJr YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in so much. Continue to subscribe to the channel, man. We're going to do some previews to the game against Tennessee State. I got to talk about my G-men later this week because they disappointed me. I was looking forward to what they could possibly do. They disappointed me, but they get a chance to bounce back. And we're going to take a look at some of the other scores across the SWAC. We just had to focus in on the Orange Blossom Classic because it was a jaw dropper. It just surprised the hell out of me, and I had to get on here and talk about it. And the player Shedeur Sanders had to get its own separate video because he was magnificent. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, my name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. with the Black Boss channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jeff Lightsy Jr. Also, you can subscribe to theblackbosschannel.com, to theblackbosschannel.com. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That is Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. And I will see you next time. Peace.